So assessment approaches at Fitzalan has been a little bit more of a challenge, I think, than what we were initially expecting. One of the things that we found, and the Centre to Determine Grades process actually really revealed this for us, is that as secondary practitioners, design and assessment is not necessarily something we're particularly familiar with. What we tend to do, if we were honest, is we would tend to use particular question stems from GCSE or A-level specifications and bring those down for children that they weren't necessarily designed for. And that meant that we were expecting children to do things that they weren't necessarily ready for or actually wasn't appropriate for that learning at that time. And that's really difficult for us to really think about. How do you design high quality assessments that really capture children's understanding? So the principles of progression have allowed us to focus on meaningful curriculum design. So for example, things like what it means to be an effective learner can only really flourish if your curriculum is very coherently designed, that it is sequenced well across and between areas of learning. And that's allowed us then to go back and ask ourselves questions about things like really high quality inquiries that we've developed. If you could pick them up and put them at any other point of that child's schooling, what does that actually mean about progress? Because the interesting thing about that is you might have a really, really high quality learning experience, but the children may never come back to that again. So how are you deepening that understanding? How are you actually giving that sequencing to allow for those children to develop a broad understanding of what's happening? And that's been a really interesting thing for us to think about from a pedagogy point of view at school. What does understanding really mean? For a long time, we've focused on children being able to identify knowledge and be able to prove that they've developed that knowledge. It might be the case that we've developed skills with them, but they may never come back to those skills again. But really understanding is about a combination of purposeful learning, about really thinking about what is the purpose of each and every learning experience that those children are going to have. And if you can answer that question, you really get to the essence of that learning. You're really focusing on what that understanding is.
One challenge that we've recently faced when developing curriculum is how assessment fits into curriculum for Wales. So in a traditional assessment, you're looking at one piece of work in isolation. You make a judgment on that student's ability or work and you put a level on it. And we realise this isn't really fair. It isn't looking at the whole picture of how a child works, and it's not holistic, that it's putting a lot of pressure on this one assessed piece of work rather than it being more formative throughout a scheme of learning or throughout a year. It's been encouraging us to look at work not in isolation as one simple task, but as a component in overall assessment. If we look towards this more holistic and whole year assessment rather than this one be all and end all task, I feel like we get a much more accurate and much more beneficial form of assessment. It's something we can work with rather than something we mark and just leave be when it's done. It forms part of the progress of the child and how they are going to make progress across a year.
Our curriculum design has developed quite significantly from the old model under the old national curriculum. Under the old model we would have sort of set assessments, quite lengthy pieces of work at various points in the year, and that'd be very kind of tightly planned. And I think the pupils used to find that quite burdensome. One of the feedback points we used to get from pupil voice that they often felt they were being constantly assessed. We felt we were constantly marking and not necessarily for much point, if I'm honest. So our real change has been to actually allow teachers much more freedom to say, well, where do I think would be best to assess this pupil? What have they got to a point where they've developed a set of skills or a set of knowledge that I can then assess to build into my next step of planning. And it's that looking, when we have our kind of pupil progress meetings, looking at their books and assessing them much more holistically and saying, can we see a range of competencies in these pupils' work? It allowed us then to plan forward using that assessment rather than constantly just marking work that sometimes is weeks out of date and actually doesn't inform our planning.
Curriculum design and assessment developing as we move forward, that has been a bit of a challenge with assessment, because I think at the beginning we were very much focused on what were the topics we were bringing about, what was the understanding going to be about, what was the concepts we wanted to follow. It's almost like we took the ball out of the ball for a short time and we thought, actually, no, the assessment's got to change as well. We need to make sure that we've got clear assessment and we're monitoring the progress of the pupils as they move through the scheme of work. One thing we have done, and that's worked really, really well, is in the past we've had big set piece assessments, and they've come at the end of a unit of work and it's become almost like an exam. Whereas now we're taking snapshots as we go. They're not standalone, they're not sort of separate, they work together to monitor that progress, to show that progress of the pupils. But those little snapshots at the end of a lesson, it can be just a simple question, write an answer to this, a few lines just to show me your understanding. In the past, that would have just been something that just finishes a lesson. Now it helps us plan for the next lesson, it shows where we're going in the scheme of work, and we can see the pupil progress as they're moving through. In reviewing it, whilst we wanted to get rid of the big set piece assessment, we have realised as a department that we do need something a little bit more substantial every now and then. So one of the things that we're doing at the moment as we're looking back is where can we put in, on our little scheme of learning plan, I've got a little flag that I put in. This is an assessment that we all need to do as a department so that we've got that shared understanding of progress, and we can see that assessment, we can see what the pupils have done, we can bring that together and see what's happening department-wise in terms of the progress the pupils are making. So it's going to take a little bit of work to have a think about whether, how to style those assessments. We don't want to go back to really big, long, lengthy pieces of work. So we're going to have a think about that and see, but it's really important, I think, that there is something a little bit more substantial as we move forward.
One of the main benefits of the transition approach, in particular, I'd say, was we came to a shared understanding of assessment for learning. And we put together a suggested continuum of self and peer assessment that children at primary level in particular would have accessed by the time that they got to FitzAlan. Again, not being prescribed, it was something which we'd all fed into. And the idea behind that was that children were involved in the process. It wasn't something which was done to them. So by the time they do transition from primary to secondary, they have that habit of being involved in their own assessment. So they can talk about their learning, that they're involved in identifying their next steps and hopefully feeding forward, as opposed to having the learning done to them, which was perhaps the hallmark of the previous curriculum.
How do I see this impacting on assessment in the future? Well, we're already seeing a difference between the Key Stage 4 pupils and the Key Stage 3 pupils in the way that they think and reason through a problem. So for example, at Key Stage 4, even though we've done numeracy rich tasks in the past, their ability to analyse and reason the question through isn't as good as the ones that are coming through that we've trialled this inquiry-based learning and new curriculum style teaching with the Key Stage 3 pupils. So we see that they have a better way of talking through problems and working through problems and understanding what the key part of the problem and the key question of a problem is, and they will be able to reason that through better than the pupils at Key Stage 4. So we hope going forward that will impact on any assessment made, no matter what type of assessment it is. They will be able to get to the nitty-gritty and work through those problems in a better, more fluent, more reasoned way.